Heyo YouTube, MusicMan1310 here, and welcome to another long-awaited episode of Guns Versus. This episode is going to put the favorite M8A7 against the not-so-favorite XR-2. A couple of things that I would say right off the bat is that both guns are burst assault rifles with a one-burst kill potential. Also, I will recommend to use quick draw and stock on both guns as must-have attachments, and an optic as an optional attachment. Normally I would recommend a second optional attachment, but in this case it's really up to you. Lastly, both of them do have low recoil, which makes them very accurate. With that in mind, let's go over the M8A7. And for the record, I may call it the Mate every now and then in this episode, but the Mate is a 4-round burst AR that, up to long ranges, takes 4 shots to kill. At long ranges, the M8 will need 1 more shot. Also, on average, you may need 2 or 3 bursts to be able to land all shots needed to get the kill. Like I said, you can one burst, but it's more or less difficult. Fire rate on the M8 is about average. You do need to pull the trigger after each burst, so getting a number on the fire rate was difficult for me to get. However, it isn't faster or slower than the other ARs in the game, aside from the Shiva and MX Garand, but those are different animals. Reload time on the M8 is 2.75 seconds on an empty mag and 2.03 seconds with 1 bullet left at least. Not too impressive, however I would recommend having a pistol in case you absolutely need the downtime. Normally you don't, but sometimes you will, and it's best to have a pistol just in case. Speaking of the magazine, the Mate has a magazine size of 32 bullets, which gives you 8 bursts to work with. Putting on extended mags give you 44 bullets, or 11 bursts to work with. Ideally, if you land all shots needed in a burst, you can kill 8 people in 1 mag or 11 people in 1 mag. Like I said earlier, though, you may need 2 or 3 bursts to get a person, so just something to keep in mind. Mate works best with an aggressive playstyle. The pros use this gun almost all the time, mostly because each burst goes by really fast. Not as in you'll need scavenger, but fast enough that your opponents won't have much time to respond. Now we move on to the XR-2. This is a 3-round burst AR that needs a 4th shot to kill at mid-ranges and so on. Close ranges only need 3 and long ranges need, you guessed it, 4. Running high caliber wouldn't be a bad idea because that means that you only need 2 shots at close range, provided one of those shots is a headshot. Also, it'll help getting you that 100 headshot camo that's so difficult to get for no real reason. One last thing to note is that while you can get a 1 burst to kill, my experience is that oftentimes you need at least 3 to get the kill. At least that's what my field testing showed me. If you have different experiences, that is what works with you. The XR2, like a different gun in Black Ops 3, has an interesting burst mechanic called full burst. This means that if you hold the trigger, it will shoot the burst with the burst delay, as if it was a fully automatic AR. With that, I was able to calculate the fire rate at 444 rounds a minute, with rapid fire increasing it to 471 rounds a minute. It's not the slowest shooting gun, but it is relatively slow shooting. However, rapid fire is not really needed. Reload time on the XR2 is 3 seconds flat on an empty mag, so make sure you're behind cover if it reaches that point, and 1.98 seconds with at least 1 bullet. Despite having a quicker reload time with a bullet left, I would still recommend a pistol mainly for if you need to reload an empty mag. It will happen, trust me. Unlike the Mate, the XR2 has a magazine size of 30 bullets, like any other full auto AR. And if you put on extended mags, it'll give you 42 bullets. In terms of bursts, normally you have 10 bursts to work with, but with extended mags, you'll have 14 bursts to work with. While having more bursts available than the M8 sounds like a good thing, the XR2 is more of a conservative burst AR. You use it to hold down objective points or choke points because you really need to be able to line up your shots to be able to land them. Overall, while these guns have somewhat different play styles, there's nothing the XR2 does that the M8 can't do just as good or better, so the M8 is the winner in this case. However, statistically speaking, the XR2 would be the better gun because it has a higher damage output, it can fire similar to a full auto AR, and if you miss, you have more burst to work with than the M8. The reason why I say the M8 is better is because you can get more one-burst kills from an M8 than the XR-2. Plus, I see a lot of pros using the M8 over the XR2, so there's that factor as well. Anyways, that's going to be it for this episode of Gun Versus. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more, follow me on Twitter, link is in the description, and be sure to check out the last Gun Versus, which was the HVK-30 against the ICR-1. Leave a comment if you want to put two guns together for a future episode, and this is the Music Man 1310 signing out. Bye!